Because 1964 threatens to be a very explosive year on the racial front, and because I myself intend to be very active in every phase of the American Negro struggle for human rights, I have called this press conference this morning in order to clarify my own position in the struggle, especially in regards to politics and nonviolence. I wish to speak for just 10 or 15 minutes and then open myself for questions. I am and always will be a Muslim. My religion is Islam. I still believe that Mr. Muhammad's analysis of the problem is the most realistic and that his solution is the best one. This means that I too believe that the best solution is complete separation, with our people going back home, that is, to our African homeland. But separation back to Africa is still a long-range program, and while it is yet to materialize, 22 million of our people who are still here in America need better food, better clothing, better housing, better education, and better jobs right now. Mr. Muhammad's program does point us back homeward, but it also contains within it what we could and should be doing to help solve our own problems right now while we're still in America. But internal differences within the Nation of Islam forced me out of it. I did not leave of my own free will, but now that it has happened, I intend to make the most of it. Now that I have more independence of action, I intend to use a more flexible approach toward working with others to get a solution to this problem.
Malcolm didn't walk away from the Nation of Islam. He was pushed out, not for lying, not for failure, but for telling the truth that made his own house uncomfortable. The root? It was moral. Mr. Muhammad had power, but also contradiction, private misconduct, leadership secrets. And Malcolm, being who he was, loyal but principled, couldn't stomach silence. He spoke out, and the machine turned on him. But this exile, it didn't break him, it clarified him. History tells us, this is how movements fracture. It happened after Garvey. After the civil rights split between King and SNCC. Anytime a leader starts questioning the terms of obedience, a system has to decide, is it about truth or control? Malcolm chose truth, and it cost him his place, but it gave him his independence. He didn't just lose a pulpit, he stepped out of a doctrine that no longer fit the size of his vision. That's what people miss. This wasn't just a religious shakeup, it was a political recalibration. When a black leader pivots like that, in public, it's dangerous. Not just to the people who opposed him, but to the people who followed him blindly. Because now they have to ask, what if he's right? And Malcolm was right. America wasn't scared of him because of Islam. It was scared of what he was becoming, a man with no leash. A man thinking globally, speaking freely, acting independently. He was turning from prophet to strategist. And what did he do next? He got to building. He formed the Muslim Mosque Inc., not to replace the nation, but to evolve it. A place for faith, yes, but also for politics, economics, culture, ground-level movement, with real teeth.
I'm not out to fight other Negro leaders or other Negro organizations. We must find a common approach, a common solution to a common problem. As of this minute, I have forgotten everything bad that the other leaders have said about me, and I pray they can also forget the many bad said about them. The problem facing our people here in America is bigger than all the other personal or organizational differences. Therefore, as leaders, we must stop worrying about the threat that we seem to think we pose to each other's personal prestige and concentrate our united efforts toward solving the unending hurt that is being done daily to our people here in America. I'm going to organize and head a new mosque in New York City known as the Muslim Mosque Incorporated. This gives us a religious base and the spiritual force necessary to rid our people of the vices that destroy the moral fiber of our community. Our political philosophy will be black nationalism. Our economic and social philosophy will be black nationalism. Our cultural emphasis will be upon black nationalism. Many of our people aren't religiously inclined, so the Muslim Mosque Incorporated will be organized in such manner to provide for the active participation of all Negroes in our political, economic, and social programs, despite their religious or non-religious beliefs. The political philosophy of black nationalism means We must control the politics and the politicians of our own community. They must no longer take orders from outside forces, and we will organize and sweep out of office all Negro politicians who are puppets for these outside forces. Our accent will be upon youth. We need new ideas, new methods, new approaches. We will call upon young students of political science throughout the nation to help us. We will encourage these young students to launch their own independent study and then give us their analysis and their suggestions. We are completely disenchanted with the old, adult, established politicians. We want to see some new faces, more militant faces. The Muslim Mosque will remain wide open for ideas and financial aid from all quarters. Whites can help us, but they can't join us. There can be no black-white unity until there is first some black unity. There can be no workers' solidarity until there is first some racial solidarity. We cannot think of uniting with others until we have first united among ourselves. We cannot think of being acceptable to others until we have first proven acceptable to ourselves. One can't unite bananas with scattered leaves.
Black nationalism. You hear it thrown around now like a trend, but when Malcolm said it, it was a threat, a blueprint, a line in the sand. He wasn't talking about empty slogans or performative pride, he meant infrastructure, black control over black life. Politically, that meant we choose who represents us, we fund them, we hold them, we replace them when they dance for outside masters. Malcolm made it plain, we will organize and sweep out of office all Negro politicians who are puppets for these outside forces. That's not rhetoric, that's strategy. Economically, it meant self-sufficiency, businesses that we own, dollars that circulate in our hands first, not last, no begging, no dependency, we build, we hire, we sustain. Culturally, it meant pride without permission, it meant teaching our children the truth before the world teaches them to disappear, it meant knowing that blackness isn't a deficit, it's a design, a force. This was decades before, by black hashtags, before Black Wall Street documentaries, before the post-2020 push for local organizing. Malcolm was already laying the blueprint, and he told us, it starts at the street level, with the youth, with the unpolished but hungry, the ones ready to move. That's why he said, our accent will be upon youth, we want new ideas, new methods, new approaches. He wasn't trying to be a savior, he was trying to build an army of thinkers, doers, builders, radical in mind, not just mouth. And then came the line most folks fumble. Whites can help us, but they can't join us. That wasn't hate, that was logic, because how can you unite with another group when your own is fractured? How can you build bridges if your own house ain't even standing? Malcolm's point was clear, black folks needed space to heal, to organize, to lead ourselves, without dilution, without guilt, and without outside agendas steering the wheel. That wasn't anti-white, it was pro-black, and there's a difference.
Stop sweet-talking him. Tell him how you feel. Tell him what kind of hell you've been catching, and let him know that if he's not ready to clean his house up, if he's not ready to clean his house up, he shouldn't have a house.
Concerning nonviolence, it is criminal to teach a man not to defend himself when he is the constant victim of brutal attacks. It is legal and lawful in this country to own a shotgun or a rifle, and we believe in obeying the law. In areas where our people are the constant victims of brutality, and the government seems unable or unwilling to protect them, we should form rifle clubs that can be used to defend ourselves and our property in times of emergency, such as happened last year in Birmingham, Alabama, in Plaquemine, Louisiana, in Cambridge, Maryland, and in Danville, Virginia. When our people are being bitten by dogs, they are within their right to kill those dogs. We should be peaceful, we should be law-abiding, but the time has come for the American Negro to fight back in self-defense whenever and wherever he is being unjustly and unlawfully attacked. Now, if the government thinks that I'm wrong for saying this, then the government should start doing its job.
Here's what they never got about Malcolm X: he wasn't preaching violence, he was preaching survival. There's a difference. He said, if the law won't protect us, then we reserve the right to protect ourselves, not to start chaos, but to stop the bleeding. Look at the cities he named, he was surgical with it. Birmingham, Alabama, where black children were blasted with fire hoses, where police set dogs loose on marchers, and the federal government said nothing. Cambridge, Maryland, where peaceful protests turned to open flames because state officials treated black demands for education and housing like insurgency. Danville, Virginia, where demonstrators were beaten bloody in a church basement by cops. Plaquemine, Louisiana, where nonviolent marchers were tear-gassed just for asking to vote. Now ask yourself, how long should a people take beatings before they bite back? Malcolm made it plain. He said, it is criminal to teach a man not to defend himself when he is the constant victim of brutal attacks. That ain't rebellion, that's restraint reaching its final limit. And here's what made him dangerous. He wasn't waiting on Washington. He knew the system wasn't broken, it was operating as designed, so he said, organize rifle clubs, be legal, be disciplined, but be ready. That terrified them, not because he was telling lies, but because he was telling the truth, and daring black people to act on it. He didn't ask for violence, he asked for dignity, and said, if no one else will protect it, we will. And that, right there. That was the line that made him a target. Malcolm didn't ask for a seat, he built a strategy, he spoke truth and paid the price, so we wouldn't have to keep repeating the same cycle. This wasn't noise, it was a blueprint. That brings us to yet another eye-opening one. Don't forget to like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments section. We're always listening, and we grow from your feedback. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that now. We've got your interest at heart, and trust me, the next one might just hit harder. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.